This happened when?
September the 29th, 2014.
29th. You remember it?
Yes, like it was yesterday.
For 4 years, Urema Palma has wondered who killed her brother, Humberto Palma. He was found lying in a street next to his truck after being shot once in the head.
The first thing that I heard was I got a ping on my, because I have an updates, through y'all's website, yes. And it said shots fired at 27 or 53 or wherever the address was, I can't remember. The address, 23rd and Keystone. And I didn't think nothing of it.
There were eyewitnesses who heard a gunshot and one person who administered first aid who saw a car. But to date, no one has been arrested or charged.
My phone rings, and my younger brother, he calls me and he tells me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I just got home." He says, "Well, you need to get over here." I said, "Where?" He said, 23rd and Keystone. I said, "Why?" He says, "Humberto's truck is here." I said, "Where's Humberto?" He says, "I don't know." I go back and the detective comes back and she says, "It was Humberto and he has died."
For Urema and her family, this doesn't make sense. Humberto Palma grew up in Midland and attended Midland Lee. He played football and loved karate. He also worked for many years in the oil field, collecting knives and Hot Wheels. Urema says she never expected something like this would happen to her brother.
My brother never carried a gun. My brother wasn't the type, a person to fight with his, he was any, male. He fought, whatever, but he never used weapons. That was not his MO.
Justin Cade is the new Odessa Police Department detective working the murder of Humberto Palma. He has looked over every piece of evidence in the file and talked with Humberto's family. He says he understands their frustration.
Crazy to think that it happened in the middle of the day. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock when everyone's getting off of work, in the middle of the street. And we have very few witnesses and very little evidence. Most of the witnesses are after the incident happened. They heard the gunshots and, run out of their house and see everything, after the fact. We don't have a whole lot of any information of what happened prior to the shooting.
At 4:45, he called my daughter. She was the last person to speak to him that day. They talked for 4 minutes. At exactly 4:49, they hung up the phone. And then at 4:59, he was shot. What happened in that 10-minute window that they had to kill him? What happened? We don't know.
Odessa Crime Stoppers is running Humberto's cold case on electronic billboards in Midland and Odessa, hoping someone will come forward with information. They are also upping the reward for information that leads to an arrest to $2,400. The family and police hope that will lead to someone coming forward to help the Palma family heal.
You think someone knows about it?
Absolutely. Yep.
What makes you think that?
Well, we have at least 2 suspects that know about it. We know that the suspect vehicle is occupied multiple times. One shooter, but the vehicle is occupied by several people, and they know about it.
We understand there was 3 people in the car. I pray that somebody in that car has a conscience, has a family, and says, "You know what? I wouldn't want this to happen to my family." Because you know what? Even though they took my brother from us, I don't wish this upon their family. This is the kind of hurt you don't wish upon anybody.
Gone are the days of clunky, old-fashioned phones.
The world has transitioned to sleek smartphones, and just about everyone has one. And many are now in young, impressionable hands.
Now they have access to anything and everything.
A digital life, a familiar world to teens and even tweens, but possibly a whole new world for a different generation, their parents. Christine Foreman is a mom of 3. She has an 18-year-old daughter, a 15-year-old daughter, and a 12-year-old son.
With my kids, I can't just be their friend and monitor them on social media. I actually have to know their accounts and know their passwords to be able to really see what they're truly doing on there, because they can hide so much even when you just follow them.
Let's take a look at just a few apps that top the most dangerous list. Of course, a couple might look familiar, like Instagram or the Calculator app. But what they conceal and what they could lead to should cause concern. Take the Whisper app, for example. It's designed to share secrets and meet new people. Police say apps like these are a mecca for sex trafficking and a way to lure teens down a dangerous and sometimes deadly road.
And there's predators out there that'll use it to solicit a minor.
And behind the screen,
you never know who you're talking to. Christine's oldest daughter, Gentry, recalls a time when one of these apps was on her radar.
I remember Kik as a kid. That's what I used as my messaging app for, to communicate with my friends. And now it's being used for like sexual predators. And, that totally went over my head as a kid. But had my parents not monitored that could have turned so dangerous.
That's why her mom spends lots of time familiarizing herself with the latest technology, including the newest apps on the market.
Do any of these stand out to you? Have you seen any of these before?
There was a whole group of kids that were bullying each other through the Ask FM app, just saying horribly ugly things about their classmates.
Out of the 10 dangerous apps, Christine has heard of more than half. A refreshing thought in a day and age where kids are often more well-versed in technology than their parents.
I don't think they're aware at all of the dangers, and they can just get sucked in so easily.
That begs the question, what is the best age for kids to get their first cell phone?
13, at least that's what the experts say. But the phone shouldn't include a full data package, just the ability to make calls in case of an emergency.
If you have a 14-year-old that has full access to everything on a computer, a phone, or a tablet, they are not developmentally able to handle that.
I sat down with Christy Edwards.
We're trying to protect our children's innocence for as long as we can.
She's been counseling kids in the Permian Basin for almost 2 decades and says the number of parents asking about technology and social media has skyrocketed.
They're saying, oh my gosh, this is what I found on my phone, or this is my kid. One of the constant battles is them being on their phones, on their computers, on their tablets.
Edwards says to keep in mind it's around the age of 14 and 15 years old when teens are most likely to hide things from their parents.
When they walk in, you say, we're going to do a phone check. I'm going to look at everything you have. I'm going to open everything you have.
And it's all in the name of keeping kids safe in this digital life.
We have to protect them from the dangers because they don't know enough to protect themselves.
9 fires spanning across the city of Midland and Midland County. 2 at the Greenwood Fire Station, an 18-wheel water truck inside the fire station, a trailer home, and an abandoned home on East County Road 140. 3 pallet fires and the Valley View Baptist Church. All set intentionally. All arson. Now it's time to put a face to a name behind the flames. 24-year-old Alan Alton Self. According to his Facebook page, Self is from Antelope, Texas, about 90 miles northwest of Fort Worth. Now get this, his reasoning for starting the fires? He said he was bored as a volunteer firefighter and wanted to fight fires. And that's something Midland County Sheriff Gary Painter cannot relate to.
I don't get bored, and I've got stuff to do, but I keep myself busy. It's very sad. I don't even pretend to understand a firebug. They are a totally different type of person, and you have to go at that kind of a case different from you would a burglary or a homicide.
Another important fact mentioned in Sheriff Painter's release is that the burning of Valley View Baptist Church is a first-degree felony. So what does that mean? It means Self could be looking at 99 years behind bars.
And as she opened the door, she smelled smoke. So the way I understand it, she backed out and started looking and went to the back part and found out that we'd had a fire.
But thankfully, the most important part of the church was unharmed.
It's amazing how God protected the chapel.
Most people that get to come up on the dock can't really believe it's out here in the middle of nowhere, but it is. You could drive by my place all day for weeks and weeks and months and never really know what was going on behind the fence. If you ask the fire department what what firework items start the most fires. They would say the ones that go a long way from you and have things attached to them, such as sticks and fins. If you've got a rocket, you've got a stick attached. If you've got a missile, you've got a fin attached. Anytime you have the potential for fires, and you do when you have dry grass and very little rain, when you have the potential for fires, you shoot different fireworks in those years. We all have license, and you sure don't want to lose your license. Not over a rocket or a missile.
Still no sign of the people who ran away from the scene of a crash late last night. It happened on Yukon and Andrews Highway just before 11 o'clock. According to a state trooper on the scene, a black Mitsubishi hit a truck at a traffic stop. We are told that several people in the Mitsubishi bailed and jumped a fence, leaving behind an injured woman. She was taken to the hospital. The man in the truck wasn't hurt. He broke down what happened.
The light turned green. The dude, he drives off. There was another car on the side of me before I could switch lanes. This car right here come out of nowhere and just knocked the blocks off of me. I'm talking about he knocked the cheese out my nacho.